Okay, let's talk about juice cubes. They are hands down my favorite thing that I've implemented in my classroom throughout my entire teaching career. I'm telling you guys, juice cubes have been a game changer, but I'm gonna try and answer all of your questions about why we use them, how we implement them, what it looks like when we're talking about them. Does the whole class have them? Where do I store them? All the things. So let's talk juice cubes. For starters, this is the container that I store them in, and it was a nice little like set that came together on Amazon. It came with 4 of these ice trays, this container, and a scooper. So I had somebody asking, when you give them juice cubes, are they just all digging their hands in? No, we use this nice little scoop. I got some of these cups off Amazon. I got like 500 cups for like, I don't know, $6 or something. And this container was like $14. And I just scoop up a few. I put them in the little cup. And then this is what kids will use when they are actually going to eat the juice cubes. A lot of you asked, where do I store my juice cubes? I have like a mini fridge freezer in my room. Okay, here's our little mini fridge freezer. I do have locks on it. I don't lock it a lot of the time just because I don't need to. And then the juice cubes are stored here. And I also have ice packs in here because this is another great dominant sensory item. Whenever we make juice cubes, we try and do it in the evenings, and then we just put it right on top of our juice container. And by the morning, they're frozen, and we'll put the fresh ones in there. We most often use juice from the little juice cups that come from the lunchroom. So it's literally the juice that kids are drinking at lunch, just poured into a little ice tray. Okay, so like I said, juice cubes are new for our classroom this year. And so at the beginning of the year, the way that I introduced them personally was I made this cute little art project. It says, "Let's cool down." They got to decorate this cute tumbler. And then on the inside, we have ice cubes of different strategies or tools or things that they could use to help regulate their bodies. And so you can see there's a bunch of different options. But one of the things that we talked about were juice cubes. And when we were talking through the things that can help regulate our bodies or calm us down when we're frustrated, we actually practiced or tried using these things to see how they made our bodies feel. Whenever we talk about strategies that can help calm our bodies, we almost have to like let kids know what we should be feeling that actually helps us calm our bodies, right? So like if it's jumping on a trampoline, if it's hugging a stuffed animal, if it's rocking on a chair, if it's sucking on juice cubes, what does our body feel and why does that help us calm down? So when we are trying juice cubes as a group, we're talking about how, oh, I'm noticing it's really cold when I'm sucking on it. I'm trying to figure out what flavor I'm sucking on. While I'm sucking on this juice cube, that's what I'm thinking about. So even though I might be sad or frustrated or emotional, this is so cold and I'm trying to focus on the taste that it's helping my brain and my body calm down. So I think the trick with using juice cubes is talking about it ahead of time and really modeling how it helps our bodies calm down, because truthfully, a dominant sensory item does help your body calm down, but we want to structure it in a way where kids can realize how productive it is. Also, fun fact, another way that we've tried to use juice cubes is for when kids are really tired and they're struggling to stay awake. We've had them try juice cubes, and it has also worked for that. Do kids ask if they can have juice cubes when they're not dysregulated? Yes, but we just talk about how we have to save the juice cubes for when kids or our bodies really need it. If we have juice cubes all throughout the day, we won't have juice cubes when we really need them. I have not had any issues with kids not responding well to that. With that being said, I also talk to kids about how if juice cubes become an issue and we are having behaviors or we're struggling just so we can have juice cubes, then that shows me that juice cubes aren't going to work for helping to calm our bodies. And so far, I've had no issues with that either. But I think setting the expectations for those things makes a big difference. And I think it's important to set expectations for juice cubes so they're productive. So how do I offer juice cubes when kids are escalated? For the kids that are having juice cubes, we've already talked about how juice cubes can help us. So I have a pretty structured calm down break system for all of my students. They have to make it to a designated break space. Once they make it to their break space, they get to choose certain calm down items to help them regulate their bodies. So once they make it to their break space, I know which items students respond well to, and I will give choices between those items. So it might be, do you want a beanbag or a blanket? Okay, once you get to your beanbag, would you like juice cubes or an ice pack? And then I will give them those choices. Most of the time they choose juice cubes. I say, thank you for using your words. I'll go grab your juice cubes. And then I have a little calm down card. I can actually show you guys. I have a little calm down card where while I'm grabbing the juice cubes, they are telling me if they need 3, 5, or 7 minutes. So I just hand this to them. I go grab the juice cubes, and then we kind of swap out, and I say, okay, awesome. I will set a 7-minute timer for you. For some of my students, I just know them so well where once they're to a point of being so emotional or so dysregulated that they respond best to just offering it to them. So there's some kids, they're so emotionally dysregulated that I will grab juice cubes and I will just set it by them and I'll say, I got this for you. And they respond great to that. It all depends on the plans that you have for your students and what kind of relationship you have and how they respond to either prompting or choices or whatever it might be. It just depends on the student. And you kind of figure that out depending on what systems you have in place. Another question I had was, when a student needs juice cubes, do I give one to everybody or do I just give them to that student? And so we have talked about juice cubes with everybody that works in our room. And so they know that when kids need juice cubes, they need it to help their bodies. And it's not like a special treat. It's truly to help them in moments that they need it. So when we find a kid needs juice cubes, I keep my fridge right up front, which is right by where I teach over there. And I'm able to just go in the fridge, grab a cup that I always keep right over there, fill up a little cup, and give it to the student. It takes me maybe 10 seconds. I can have paraprofessionals help with that. I could even have a student maybe help with that if we are busy working on something else. But overall, it's not disruptive. Kids know what the expectation is. And if somebody were to ask, I would talk to them about the fact that juice cubes can help anybody when they need it to help with their bodies or things that they're feeling. And to everybody out there saying, we don't need to be making juice cubes or doing this kind of stuff for kids. We never had to do this a long time ago. Whatever it is, yeah, we didn't do it a long time ago because we didn't know better. Like, I would have been doing juice cubes in my room when I first started teaching if I had thought of the idea, but I hadn't thought of the idea. And now that I see how amazing it's working for kids, how quickly it's helping kids regulate, it's helping us get back on track, it's keeping us awake, it has showed me the value in it. Not to mention, if you're somebody that's ever been emotional, angry, upset, anxious, frustrated, anything along those lines, which if you're a human, you have been one of those feelings at some point in your life, I dare you the next time to suck on an ice cube or to suck on a popsicle or get something that's really sour or pungent in taste and tell me that it doesn't help you regulate a little bit quicker than if you weren't to have that. So, I don't know, that whole mindset, not sitting right with me. On top of that, I'm a special education teacher, and so it is my job to think of accommodations and supports to help students be more successful in the classroom. For most of my students, that means helping kids get to a calm down space safely without physical aggression, without verbal, unkind words being said, without breaking anything or hurting anybody or scaring anybody. So that's our goal, to make it to a calm down space, calm their bodies within 10 minutes and be able to return to class. Those are all expectations that will help people in the long run when they're in their jobs, when they're in future relationships, no matter where they're at. Like, that is a great skill and goal to work on for so many of our kids, for adults in real life. And if an accommodation is a juice cube because it helps them calm down in 3 minutes versus 45, I'm gonna do it, because guess what? Later on in life, when somebody is 30 years old and they're escalated or they're struggling at work, maybe they will always have ice in their water bottle and they'll choose to suck on an ice cube because they will remember that they learned that from Miss China. So guess what? If you don't want to help kids in that way, you don't have to, but it works really well in our classroom and I'm not going to stop.